last week in the Krispy Kreme National Series, we saw a last lap pass for the win, and Caleb's got a second win in the last 3 races, and he's now very comfortably in a chase spot with just 5 races to go. Here today is the halfway point of the return season of the Krispy Kreme National Series, and we are able, of course, for the first time on the season, it is the Menards 180 at Road America. What's up, everyone? It's Boyan Space 97, aka Nathan Stapleton here, and welcome to Road America and a 4.048 mile road course. And it's gonna be a little bit of a long one for these drivers here, and kind of crazy that this is the first road course on the year for these drivers, and it's gonna be a true wildcard race for these drivers because we've not been on a road course all year long. We got Travis Clampton up here in the booth and maybe gain some eyeball vantage point for tomorrow for the JBL Cup Series race. And welcome to this 4-mile long road course.
Yeah, it's good to be here in the home of cheese at Wisconsin. Got a nice bucket of Culver's cheese curds right here to snack on during the race. But yeah, very excited for this race. Road America, a very long road course, but a very fun road course at that.
Absolutely, there's a lot of places you can make a pass on someone, and strategy is going to be very important. There's only going to be one pit stop here today. It's going to be around or just past halfway. It's going to open on lap 6 and it could be up to lap 8. So it's really going to be interesting on how that all goes down. But this is a long road course and it's a tricky road course. It's not easy whatsoever. You got turn 3, I believe, where they like to jam up every once in a while. And then, of course, the Canada turn is a crazy one. You got the carousel, the kink. It's a very tricky 4-mile road course, and for some of these guys starting up front, what do they need to do to get around this place?
Well, they just need to. Track position is always key. Every road course, doesn't matter what road course you go to, track position is key. So these guys who start up front need to stay up front. That means pit crews need to do their job on pit road. The drivers need to do their job, not get involved in any mess, especially at turn 5, like you said, with the jam after the long back straightaway. And as well, the carousel. We've seen a lot of accidents there before. Sometimes you go too wide and you get into the grass, and bam, you're in the tire barriers. So, it's all about limiting mistakes, especially at a road course. Keep your car clean, and obviously, with it being a road course, no cautions. So pit crews will play a big portion of that.
Absolutely, and we gotta see what the track position will end up looking at here. A very treacherous track with all 14 turns around this 4-mile road course, and we're gonna go ahead and get these draws rolling since it's gonna take a while. And as they do, here is the race to the chase standings. The 5 races to go. Logan Williams still is the lead, and he has a pretty good points lead and buffer on the chase cutoff. Has an 82-point advantage above the cut line. Chris Chicago, a sneaky quiet season, is plus 49. Avery Alford is in 3rd, plus 46. Benny Watson in 4th, plus 42. Caleb Bowles with a second win last week at Michigan and a thriller. He is now in 5th, plus 41. Al Poster here today. Felicity Mendoza in the number 29 is plus 31. William Ayers plus 31. Duncan Wood, who got second last week, is in 8th, plus 29. And Nick Lopez plus 15. And Jordan Stout, he's had a lot of speed but has had some rough patches. He's only 6 points in. Carlos Miller, wildcard number 1, 6 points out. Juan Duane, 9 points out. Angel Gutierrez minus 12. Bradley Ween minus 20. Alan Abel minus 21. And Monaco minus 30. Roberto Brown Jr. minus 32. Well, 31, I should say. And then Chris Mullins is down 32. Benjamin Minamai Jr., road driver for Young's Motorsports, still with a shot at minus 40. And Alexander, well, this could be a crucial day for him. He's in 20th spot, has the final wildcard spot, but not above the top 20 by much. And now let's go over the crucial top 10 here today, and I think will be pivotal on who wins here today. Felicity Mendoza, a consistent season on the pole, and Nick Lopez, a consistent season in his own right, needs a good day. ninth in the standings. Brad Lewin and Chris Jericho, Mr. Quiet, second in the point standings. And then, of course, how about this? A great qualifying one from Brandon Beal towards the deep part of the point standings, and definitely needs this one. And Avery Alford. And then in row number 4, we have Boston Americans Davidson. And then running out the top 10, it will be Juan Garcia, the Menards car, and Bruno Giacomo. And it's going to be very interesting on what ends up happening here, because like I said, this is a wild card race, and we're seeing some of these drivers like Beal, Mitt, St. Davison, Giacomo, who's had a rough start to the season. And they could easily win here today, with this being a wild card threat. We're only halfway through this threat, but I'm going to let you talk and maybe try and make a pick on who you think will win the Menards 180.
Well, kind of like what we talked about in the pre-race show. The track position is going to be very key, and my pick is definitely going to be based off of that. And my pick will be that number 8 of what you called Mr. Quiet, Chris Jericho. I think third place is a good starting position on that inside. I think could possibly make a move down into turn number 3, turn 2 possibly. And starting third gives you track position to the inside in some of these vital corners, especially early on in the portion of the racetrack. Does not have a win yet, but like you said, comfortably in, 49 in. But I do think he'll get his first win here today at Road America.
Not a bad pitch. Jericho's had some flashy moments, and he's been very consistent all season long. And this would be a race that, he starts up front, he has a good cushion on the cut line. Might as well go forward possibly to get win number 1 on the season, but same can be said for a lot of these drivers up towards the front. And we're getting down to crunch time, only 5 races to go until the chase starts, and of course that is the regular season finale at Indianapolis. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Looks like everyone is going to keep on rolling off. Got me a little bit worried here, with how long this pace lap is, but everyone is rolling, and this is going to be a fun one. Pit stops around halfway in the first road course race, and after today, we will officially be halfway through the Season 3 Krispy Kreme National Series season. Pace car is down on pit road, and we're going to go up this hill. And the Menards 180 is going to be led by Felicity Mendoza and Nick Lopez. And race 12 on the season is Green Flag Racing in Wisconsin. A clean first couple of corners can be a little bit chaotic, and this could be really interesting entering turn number 5 and then turn 6. This is going to be a good passing zone all day, but you gotta be very careful on the first lap to not jam in. Looks like the front runners are going to do a good job of that, and looks like the rest of the field is as well, maybe a little bit 3 wide. And we are good on lap number 1 and turn number 5, and Nick Lopez will take the race lead away from Mendoza. One's a little bit wide, and that's the thing that we will see all day. There's a lot of places that you can go wide here at Road America.
Yeah, but the good thing is, like that corner you saw right there just before Speedville, a lot of the curbs on exit do have a little bit of runoff, but right here there is no runoff, so you got to be careful. Like that 00, you can try to run the outside like that, but there is a risk. And how about this?
Goodness.
Chris Jericho 3 wide entering the kink, and that is not going to work out for Jericho. He's going to lose out on maybe 1, maybe 2, possibly even 3 positions down the straightaway as we head to Canada Corner.
Canada Corner, one of the most famous corners on the racetrack, and we talked about it. Jericho has that buffer. He can make some lists here today and go for the win, and that about cost him 3 wide in the kink. That, I don't know if I've seen that before, but a chaotic first lap. Nick Lopez is going to lead lap number 1. Mendoza's going to go wide, and here comes A. Ralph. He's been consistent in his own right, and he's going to take second away maybe from the 29. How about Brad Lewin? He's going to help his teammate. And RSS, they've been pretty solid this year. Of course, Caleb Rose, 5th in points, Mendoza in 6th. And then you also have Bellewin 14th in the standings, and same with Unable in 15th. He goes a little bit wide. And this is where these guys might want to start thinking about trap position and, most importantly, when they want to pick, because it's going to be 5 to lap 8, and that could be determining factor on who wins this one. Lopez out front. And how about Beal with a good start in at 35, Diacomo with a good one. Couple of drivers that have struggled this season here in the National Series.
Yeah, and I believe the last time I was in the booth was Phoenix, and Giacomo lasted a total of 1 lap, and so definitely a much better start this time for Giacomo. And he's up front, and all he has to do is just try to stay up here. And Jericho is falling like a brick in a 2-foot creek. I picked him, and well, it's already starting to come back to bite him. So I do apologize, Jericho. But still up front, inside or just outside the top 10 as of last time by. So, but I think he might be back in the top 10 this time around. But everyone's starting to settle up back out, and single file, save their stuff, save tires and fuel, and like you said, 5 to 8. If you pit towards that 5 mark, you might not be able to make it to the end. So if you save a little bit of fuel, you could start to pit maybe on lap 6, 7, or 8, and then you should be good to go from there.
Oh my goodness, that was very close in the kink right there, and that could be a road spot, and that's going to cost Watson and Locomotives some ground, and he brought up a good point. They should be able to make it, but if you pit on that 5, that could be a little bit close on the range there of making it or not, and that could be very interesting on if they can. How about Zane Davison, another driver that we've been saying all day that this is a wild card race, and he is taking advantage of it running inside the top 5. He's had a lot of bad luck, because every time we see the DGM cars run inside the top 15, top 20, something happens. So hopefully that doesn't happen here today. Nate Lopez with a 1.2 second lead over Felicity Mendoza, but we're only 2 laps in. And I mentioned this is a long road course, and it is a 2-minute lap time here. So definitely got a lot of time for stuff to go down. If you have in the 3rd spot, Davison, and then it's Beal and Weem battling for the 5th spot. Giacomo in the 7th position, but he's under fire from the 24, and that is Philip Torres. He's another driver that's been a little bit up and down. Jericho in the 8th position, and then battle for the 10th spot between Juan Garcia and Blanchiment, another driver that struggled this year, making some noise inside the top 10.
Yeah, these guys still battling out, and it's good to see the 18 up here, and he's, let's see here, I'm trying to find him in points here. He's not in the top 25 from the thing that I have, at least from what I can see, or else I'm blind. But he's having a good run, 24, making a move on the 81 of Giacomo, and oh man, Jericho now to the inside of the 24, Philip Torres. Torres trying to run that. There's that top side is a preferred line on exit, but there is a risk of doing that going off the racetrack. And then the kink, you would think the inside is the preferred line, but they check up so much on the inside that the outside is actually the preferred line around the kink.
Absolutely, and there's a few quirky things about this racetrack that is not like in real life, but it's providing a very interesting race up to this point. And I believe, if I remember right, Blanchiment is towards the bottom of the point standings, so good one for him. And Beal's going to go a little bit wide off of turn 14. That might allow that 28 to make a charge for the 6th position. But right now, Nick Lopez is doing a good job out front, side by side for P6 between the 28 and Beal. This is a crucial one for Vladimir. He sits 14th in the point standings, and this could be another good points day for that 2018.
Yeah, and RSS as a whole is having a pretty good day. The 29 being in 2nd, Beal in last time by in 6th, but now just takes the 5th position away from the 35 of Brandon Beal. And I think the 39 is only a couple cars back, just outside the top 10, inside the top 15. So RSS Racing as a whole having a pretty solid run here at Road America.
Absolutely. Oh my goodness, what a dive bomb from Juan Garcia right there. The Menards car making a dive bomb, and we just had a couple, and I'm not surprised with RSS being strong. They've been strong all year, and even though Campbell is the only driver to win for that team, that could change here today. Because I'm liking Mendoza pointing away from guys like Alfred and Davison, and maintaining about a 1.26 second gap, and depending on how pit stops happen,
Oh man.
and depending on if the 29 goes wide, could be a factor for this race win.
Yeah, and as these tires get older now, we're getting close to that pit window, and like you said, very long 2-minute racetrack. So these tires age pretty quick just because of how long the racetrack is. And you're starting to see these guys struggle for grip, especially in places like the carousel and some of these harder braking zones.
St. Davison, great one here today, and he definitely needs it, like I've said. And I think right now, anyone inside the top 5, once we get to pit stops, that could really shake up everything here in the Menards 180. Of course, no cautions for today and tomorrow for the Cup race, so if anything funny business happens, it would be in the corner of the screen. And right now, Nick Lopez, I didn't know he was a workhorse ace, but he's pulling away in that 00 machine, and he's had a very quiet season. There's that one point where he kept on getting top 15s, but not top 10s. Starting to get a couple more of those, and he might be a sleeper for this championship just based off of the consistency out of the 00, and might be able to get his first win on the season here today. Mendoza in second, Alfred in third, and then St. Davison in fourth, Ballerim in the fifth position, Giacomo in the sixth spot, Philip Torres in seventh, Chris Jericho has rebounded to eighth, and now Bailey might be falling off a little bit as he's being challenged by guys like Bronson Minute, Juan Garcia, and here comes Alexander Lowe, as that's someone that needs to go 120 from the point standings, and someone else that needs to go one. If he wants any shot to make it in after his win at Daytona, that's Anthony Hernandez. Not had a good season since the non-sub top 25 in points. And if he wants a wildcard spot, he needs to get a move on here very, very soon.
18 of, I believe that was the 18 of Bronson Minnick that got into the gravel right there. And these guys just around the top 10, just outside the top 10, are really going at it. The top, I would say the top 8, top 9 are all single file spread out, just trying to ride. But these guys back here, these guys are still really trying to get their positions and still scrambling around. But they're all just trying to get track position, and we're about to have a pit stop, so it'll be interesting to see if anyone decides to pit this time by and couldn't really save that much fuel.
Crossover move from Hernandez, and you mentioned the pit stops could happen this time by, or they could happen next time by. It's around halfway for these drivers, and the leads are going to stay out, and I think it might be closer to lap 6 and just split it right at halfway here in this one. It looks like that is going to be the case. I knew it was around halfway, but sometimes in testing they would pit on lap 5 instead of lap 6, but that's what no one is doing, as Kenneth Miller went a little bit wide off the final corner. Tough day for the road driver of Amari Jr. and last up break for the two-time winner of Caleb Rose all the way deep in the field. And it's been one of those days cost Miller in the 11th, not a good one for him. Chris Mullins deep in the field, Jordan Stout, William Ayers, Angel Gutierrez, and it's unfortunate Logan Williams with a bad one, and a lot of drives that we've seen all year long running towards the middle to the back part of the field. And now it's gonna be pit stops here very, very soon, probably this lap. It's gonna be 6 to 7, maybe lap 8. Would you want to do the undercut or the overcut with this being a massive 4-mile long road course?
Easily the undercut, especially with the road course. The sooner you can get down pit road, get those fresh tires, and get going, that is going to significantly help you. So I feel like these guys, whoever pits first will definitely be out front, or at least gain a lot of positions. So if you pit now, you could easily gain yourself some track position, because it is hard to pass. It's not impossible to pass by any means, but it is one of the harder tracks to pass on. So if you can gain any sort of positions, you can try to defend that as much as you can, especially if you're some of these guys inside the top 10.
Absolutely, and At this point in the race, it's still going to be the top, especially the top 4, maybe even Bradley Lehman, that 28 still has a good shot at this race win. And we gotta see what will these pit crews and what will these drivers do here on lap 6 halfway. The Zeal's gonna stay out, the 29's gonna stay out, and Avery Alpha's gonna be the first one on pit road. I like that call. 1 and 3rd, and I like that call for Bradley Lehman, Jericho, Beal, all down to pit road. But looks like the majority of these guys are gonna pit next time by, most likely. And that's gonna be it. Just a handful of drivers pitting on lap number 6. And I would imagine it will be 4 tires and fuel for these drivers on pit road. And that's interesting. Only 4 drivers, really only, 4 drivers on pit road. And it should be 4 tires and fuel just pitting halfway. And that's ironic that they all have the same area pit boxes. So,
No, 2 tires. They only all of them are taking 2 tires.
2 tires, and the slow start will be on the number 35, and that's gonna be interesting to see what these guys do. And this might be interesting towards the front. Well, a monster lap and a half the 29 has gone, and we might have a battle for the race lead right before pit stops.
Yeah, that lead went down from, it was 1.5, it was 1.56. Last time by, it got cut from 1.56 to 0.91. So, whatever happened to Nick Lopez that lap, I don't know if he made a mistake or if the 29 just got a monster lap like you said, but Felicity Mendoza has caught up to the back bumper of this 00 of Nick Lopez.
And now, you know what, this is really going to add a ton of pressure to that 00 pit crew, because when it was the second and a half, you could maybe risk losing a second to get the tires on and off or gaining enough fuel. But now, with it being as close as it is, less than a second at least, you can't really have a mistake. So it's going to come down to the pit crew. Nick Lopez has been the fastest car, but Mendoza looks strong as he's going to go wide until turn 13, really sending it. It's going to be 5 laps to go, and Nick Lopez is going to go in, and same with the 29.
Top 2 cars, top 3 cars now, and I'm assuming the majority of the field is going to come in this time by, and that is definitely what it looks like. We might have a very busy pit road on our hands as everybody is coming down pit road.
Everyone that did not pit the first time around is pitting on lap number 7. Busy pit road. That's really everyone. So, 4 cars doing a different strategy, but it is our leaders in the front 2 pit boxes, and everyone else 32 cars on a busy pit road, and it's gonna be a good pit stop from the number 29. No, it's not. It's gonna be a bad stop for the 29.
I was about to say those tires were up for a very long time, and that is a very slow stop. Gonna lose a couple position at least, and I don't know. There's Ream. Ream's gonna get all the way to 2nd from that strategy, and Alfred's gonna go wide, not able to quite get much track position. But how about Ream all the way up to 2nd, and I think he was running just around the 5th position.
Gonna be a net gain of 3 spots on pit road, and you know what? I said this could be a big day for him. Points-wise, it could be a big day for a win-wise if he can catch up to Nick Lopez. But what a start from that Stewart Racing team. And Nick Lopez and Mogul Dorn, the team owner, a huge lead. But that is, I don't know if that's going to be enough, because it's a full laps here. And with the long race, you can easily draft a little bit here at this racetrack. How about Slayton Davidson with the slow start from the 29? He's going to be in the 4th position once the stall cycles out. And then Philip Torres and Bruno Giacomo, a Ralford. And then Alexander Woe. He needed a good day, and he's going to get one here. Looks like Aaron Abel's just outside of the top 10, the Michigan Cup race winner. And some of these guys that needs good ones definitely are having them, and same with Aaron Monaco. Not the best ones that he needs, but looks like it's going to be a top 15 one roughly for him. Jericho's going to get clear of Hernandez, who needs a good one. A lot of drivers that need good ones until they are getting it. Jericho again fairly tight in the kink right there. And it's going to cycle out this time by with Nick Lopez as the race leader. Tough way for Gavin Perry and the number 21. Back part of the field, Jordan Stout, Carson Miller, Kyle Craven, Amari Jr., Caleb Williams, Kenneth Miller, and a lot of these other guys that we expect to see all season long running towards the bat after pit stops, and oh my goodness, Ream is closing in fast.
Yeah, and Reem, he pitted one lap earlier, and I think the reason why he caught him a little bit that time by is, with Reem already pitting one lap ahead, he was on hot tires. Meanwhile, that lap, Nick Lopez was on cold tires, but now I think the tires are evened up, so it'll be all about car performance and driver performance right here to see if Bradley Reem can catch up to that 00 Nick Lopez.
And the good thing about World America, it might be 4 laps to go, but that is still a lot of time here. About 8 minutes and I want to say about 16 miles here, so still got a lot of time here for Nick Lopez and Bradley Ream, but it looks like it's going to be one of these two. And we'll see if Nick Lopez can win, but Ream is closing in really fast in that 28 machine. Dane Davis is still running in third, Mendoza still in fourth, trying to push it, but goes wide again. The 24 of Philip Torres in fifth. Giacomo, Avery Alford, Watson, well not Watson, Minnick and Lowell battling for the 8th spot. And then Abel is going to be inside the top 10. It's a great one for him. And Lowell's going to dive bomb it right here, right before the carousel. And we'll see what ends up happening for this race lead. It's going to come down to one of these two, unless something crazy happens here in this one.
Yep, and right there, Nick Lopez got a pretty good run through the kink, but I think Reem might have got a better run. But heavy braking zone down into Canada corner, and both drivers all clean and good through there. No one looks really wide. We'll see if Reem can hold on to it here in this corner. We've seen a couple of drivers go wide when following another driver. Good through that corner into the last corner right here. Still gaining ground on Nick Lopez. Good through the final corner, good exit, and gets the draft all the way up the hill and down onto the front stretch.
Reem's gonna have a shot 100%. It's gonna go from 1.4 last time by to this time by 0.67. So basically cut it over half for that 2018. And it's been a good year for Juan Little, and it was a good weekend last weekend. His team in this series, RSS Racing and Caleb Bowles won. And then, of course, Abel won the Cup race. So he's trying to get a third win as a owner here on the channel in my series. And he might be able to get the job done. Might see a battle between Mendoza and Zane Davison here. And maybe some of these guys behind him. It's very tight from 3rd to 7th. And it's really tight back here with Lowe, Minnick, Abel, Garcia, Hernandez, and Brian Beal. Some good stuff here today on a tough road course to make a pass, and we are going to have a battle for this race win trials. 2.5 laps to go, and who wants it more, Nick Lopez or Bradley Ream?
Well, I mean, if you want to base it off points, you would think that Bradley Ream would want it more just because he is sitting 14th in points, and if he would win, that would give him the second wild card spot. It might even put him ahead because I think Carson Miller, we talked about, was running in the back, so it might even put him in the first wild card position because he's only, I want to say, 14 points behind Carson Miller, so it would definitely put him in the first wild card if he would win. However, Nick Lopez, he also doesn't have a win, so he's also very hungry. And with him only being in 9th in points, only one position above the cutoff line, I think both these drivers are really hungry, especially to get their first win on the season, and it should be a good battle. But obviously, things can happen, and forgive maybe a mechanical failure, or someone might be running wide.
And we've seen that all day. There's been mistakes from us, from a handful of drivers here today, and that could really determine on who ends up getting the race win. Of course, like you said, Nick Lopez, he's in a good position in points, but he doesn't have a buffer to rely on with a win, and that could be very important if some chaos happens in the final 4 races before the chase. But for Ream, he doesn't have a buffer. He just needs a good points day to maybe get into the club line battle. But if he gets this win, that would be fairly crucial for him, possibly sneak his way into the chase with a wild card. Still impressed from Davison here, and very impressed by the 24. Phillips was now side by side, trying to get inside the top 4 on Mendoza, and it's gonna be a day of what ifs. It's gonna be a good points day for Mendoza once again, but could have had a race winning car if it wasn't for pit road.
And Ream still slowly reeling in, then double zero. Both of them go wide. They are really both pushing, and then this time by will be the white flag. So both these drivers know that they have pretty much 3.5 miles to go, and these guys giving it all. They are absolutely pushing their Ford Mustangs to the limit. And how about Ford? I just want to point that out. Ford's having a pretty good day. 3 Fords in the top 5, and and I think four Fords in the top 10. So Ford definitely having a solid day here at the Big Road America.
Absolutely, and I think Ford, they are starting to get hot in the middle part of the season. They struggled early on, but I think they are getting on the right foot here. And this novel, we got a battle here for this race win. It is the Pilot one to go here at Road America. Right now, it's going to be Nick Lopez and Bradley Ream for this race win. White flag for the Pilot one to go. 4 miles to go, roughly 2 minutes to go, and it's down to a half a second on Slocum Williams.
Oh, no.
I just saw on pit road the regular season point leader is destroyed. You guys will see that in the corner of the screen. But we got a battle on. This is the closest that Ream has been all race long.
Yeah, and both the drivers good through turn 3 right there, down onto the large backstretch under the Sargento Bridge. Ream getting all sorts of draft from the double zero. I think too far back to make a move into turn 5, but we'll see. Could gain a lot of ground here under braking.
Oh my
goodness.
Does.
Sends it into the corner. But Nick Lopez got a great exit, and this is that, chess game. Who is good under braking, but who can get a better run off the corner? Looks like Ream is charging the entry, gaining on braking, but sacrificing himself on exit speed. However, Nick Lopez, he's sacrificing corner entry, but getting a great exit off these corners, and you're seeing that the double zero now pulls a gap on the 28 of Ream in the second part of this lap.
Through the carousel for the final time. It's still close, but I think that Lopez is in a really good position, and I gotta agree with you. Ream is just pushing the car, rightfully so, trying to get that first win, but Nick Lopez doing a good job managing the gap, managing his braking zones. Ream is gonna be close, maybe one more lap, but through the final couple of corners, we've seen crazy things before in this final turn 14. Ream is close enough to strike if Nick Lopez goes wide, but he's not going to. He's going to send it, but after turn 14, a dominant day from Nick Lopez. Had to hold off a hard-charging Bradley Ream late, but Nick Lopez is going to get a crucial race win, and he will win the Menards 180. Great win from Nick Lopez right there. Dominated the day, and he definitely had a battle there with Mendoza before pit stops and Bradley Ream after pit stops. He had to battle with a RSS car all day essentially, and he is able to get the race win here, and that's going to help him in the point standings regardless, but also a buffer in case crazy stuff happens in the final 4 races of the regular season. But still a great one from Bradley Ream. Gonna be a great points day for him in that number 28 machine, and he could get involved in the qualifying battle, because drivers like Jordan Stout had a bad day, William Ayers had a bad day, Duncan Wonders mid-pat, and same with Duwani mid-pat. So this is gonna be very interesting on what ends up happening, but a very interesting race here at Road America. And Nick Lopez hangs on to get his first win on the season.
Yeah, how about that for Nick Lopez, able to hold off a hard-charging Bradley Ream, and how about that for Ford? Like I said, Ford having a good day. Chevrolet also pretty good day for them. Toyota, not a bad day by any means. The 81 and the 18 were up front. I think the 18 did end up falling outside the top 10. I don't know what happened to the 18 of Bronson Minnick, but that's unfortunate. Um,
Oh, he
but
blew up late.
oh no, that is very unfortunate for the 18. Toyota was having a solid day, but it's like the 18 not going to get the result that they wanted. We're running up inside the top 15 pretty much the first half majority of this race.
That's been Minutes season. That's been JGR here in the National Series. And once again, not going to be the result that Bennett would want to see. But a good one from Bruno Diacono. He has struggled this year, and a lot of it's not been on him. It's been mechanical failures and bad wets. So, nice momentum one here for him. And of course, Alexander Moe, good top 10 for him. He needed it because he was on the bubble of top 20 for that wild card. But what a race here at Road America. It was solid, and it came down to a battle and only a half a second advantage between Nick Lopez and Bradley Weem. Great one from Zane Davison, running it in the third position. Definitely need that with how his season has gone. Mendoza in fourth, Philip Torres in the fifth position, 25th in points entering today. Bruno Diacono in sixth, Alexander Lowe in seventh, Aaron Abel in eighth, and like I said about Bradley Weem, definitely needed that one eighth, and he came in here 15th in points, so that's going to be interesting. And what's really going to be interesting is for this regular season title now, because it was about a 32 point advantage for Logan Williams, but he led the late, and Avery Alpha got 9th and Chris Jericho finished 12th here today. So that's definitely going to be interesting for the final four races. Great one from Beal, great one from Hernandez, Warren Kendall. Some really good ones from drivers that have struggled this season. And then of course, Bronson Minute blew up late. I'm not entirely sure if he's going to finish 24th or not, but of course, then Logan Williams, he went down on pit road and destroyed his car. Well, I don't know what happened, but we saw him coming to the white flag, and his car was destroyed. So, an interesting race here at Road America. What's the final thoughts, and what do you think might happen if you win the car tomorrow for the Cup Series race? 16 laps, 2 pit stops in that one.
Yeah, it was it was a race, and I had fun being here up in the booth. Learned a lot for tomorrow. Track position going to be pretty key for that. Just got to get a good qualifying effort there, and hopefully stay up front. But if we're in the back, just kind of it's going to be a dogfight. I mean, we saw that. First top 9, top 8 were single filed out, but then pretty much 10th on back was battling. So. You don't want to get stuck in one of those battles. You want to try to get free and catch the people in front of you. So, and obviously, you don't want to end up like Bronson Minnick or Logan Williams and have any mechanical failures or get involved in any incidents. So, gonna be interesting, and excited for the Cup race tomorrow.
Absolutely, it's gonna be a fun one. Just a handful of races to go. 4 exactly, and the JBL Cup Series race to the chase. We'll see what ends up happening over there. Got an intense regular season title fight over there, and of course the cut line is getting spicy. So we'll see what ends up happening. Thanks for joining me up here in the booth. Good luck tomorrow in the Cup Series race for the Colas 250, I believe, and we'll see on what ends up winning in that one. And we'll see if Nick Lopez can do the weekend sweep here, and we'll see if Bradley Weem can do one better tomorrow as well. Points will be at the end of the video. And congratulations to Nick Lopez on the race win, dominating performance, a late race charge for Bradley Weem with an alternate strategy. And Nick Lopez hands on to get his first win on the season. Next week, we will be in Nashville for race 13 on the season. So until then, congratulations to Nick Lopez, and we will see you guys next time in Nashville.